Okay. So I don't know how many of you may know. I prepared for this by going to Nashville. We shot in Shreveport, and I went to Nashville 5 weeks before principal photography to live with a man called Rodney Crowell, who is an extraordinary musician in his own right. He's been making music for 40 years. He's toured with Emmylou Harris. He's won Grammys. And he saw Hank on his father's shoulders at the age of 2. It's one of his earliest memories. And he was my guide through the woods, the dark and thorny woods of trying to get this right. And he used to, he's such a keeper of the flame. He was so exacting in his notes about my singing. We'd be in his studio at the back of his house, and he'd be at the soundboard with his friend and son-in-law Dan, who's a terrific sound engineer. And I was struggling with Lovesick Blues. Lovesick Blues is really technically challenging. The yodel goes up, you go up and down and up and down. You have to hit the yodel on the right pitch and come back down, and he sings out of rhythm. The stuff Fred Rose says in the movie is true. Everyone thought Lovesick Blues was terrible. And it was a terrible idea to lay down as a record, and he insisted that when he sang it live, he got this great response. It made him a star. Anyway, I knew I had to get the song right. And we did take after take after take after take after take, and I was going crazy, bashing my head against the brick wall, basically. And if Rodney would say, "Tommy boy, we gotta go again. Your rhythm's good, your pitch is fine, but you're not rocking it. You gotta rock the song." So I would go again, and eventually, Rodney has this little dog, this little spotted dog called Mono. And sometimes he'd be in the studio with us, just chilling. And I must have done 40 takes of Lovesick Blues, and I'd been singing for 5 hours, and I said, I just couldn't get it. And I was like, okay guys, I'm a gentleman, I have to take 5 minutes. I just have to take 5 minutes. I know we're gonna keep going, but I've got to step away. And I took Mono with me, this tiny little dog, and we went out and sat in Rodney's garden, and Mono had such a blissful and ignorant, unaware delight in the afternoon sun. He had no idea the battle that I was fighting. And he came up and he sat on my lap, and I just looked him in the face and I said, "Mono, how am I going to do this?" and Mono didn't give a shit. He just went for another lap of the garden. But it was nice to have his company. There was some white knuckle moments and some sleepless nights on this, because I just didn't think I was going to get it. I really didn't. And I couldn't find a way around it. It was like climbing a mountain, and you can't find a handhold up the next piece of the cliff face. And as I knew I had to get to the summit, it was a terrifying thing. But here I am sitting in front of you, so.
Absolutely. You all were absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Hiddleston, movie is our song of life. Thanks very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming out.